Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH, and I am back for quite the surprise. I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but I have to show you this. I had totally forgotten a while back on Twitter, I had heard about this VR talk show, and I totally forgot what it was called. I kind of just did a Google search for VR talk show, found it right away. And what we are looking at here today is called Foo VR. Foo VR. You can get it on Steam and you can get it through the Oculus Store, which is where I grabbed it. This is a project that is going to be continued later this year sometime. And now that I've seen their little pilot, sold. This is just cool as hell. It is a it's like a talk show where you're in a virtual environment with the hosts. We're gonna go in here and look at this. Now we are in, I might be a little bit too close. Let me see. Now, and I don't know if I can reposition, like if I hit the left bumper or select seems to be a fairly common thing to recenter the camera. But so look at this. We've got this crazy like talk show area. This is where the people would sit. Now I could get a front row seat right where I am. If I point, let's see, so I could, let's point back here. And now I just teleport right down here by the cameraman. So now we're kind of like, we're still front row, but we're kind of, back a little bit further. And I can, any of these points, whoa, that's a little messed up. So now we're off to the side. And I want to go back to center. Now we're going to start, trying to figure out I'm trying to remember how to play this again. Let's see.
Hey gang, and welcome to the preview episode of the Foo Show. I'm your host, Will Smith. We will be here, later this summer, every week with interesting folks who make TV, movies, video games, a whole lot more cool stuff. But first, our very first guest for our very first show, dear friends of mine, John Vanneman, Jake Rodkin from Campo Santo. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, Will. Thanks for having us. This is amazing. Happy to be in your cyber realm.
We've made like this weird, kind of terrifying version of Max Headroom.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
it's
it's much more. I could be here for a while.
Now we're up in the
I
stands.
feel good here.
First, we should explain what Firewatch is.
Yes.
Oh, we should.
I did a low vision spotlight for that, by the way.
So Firewatch is. Oh man, where do I start? Firewatch is a first-person
Yes.
story-based video game. You play as a man named Henry, whose life kind of takes some bad turns, and he takes a job out as a fire lookout, where you work in a fire lookout tower.
Now I'm just kind of letting them talk, and hopefully this isn't too loud and I can talk over them. But I'm waiting because I want to show you when they transport you from this talk show environment into an area of the game. And if you watch my low vision spotlight, you will recognize this, and holy crap.
But anyway, let's
The
roll the
difference
clip and
is
show people what Firewatch looks like.
This is just walking around in the woods.
Let me go back up a little bit so they're not so loud. Let's go jumping up here. So now they're further away, they're quieter, and I can kind of talk over them. But what's cool about this is we have these little points here, but they're going to actually take us into the tower where that was kind of our little home in Firewatch. So like I said, if you go back and watch my low vision spotlight for this, it looks so tiny. Like you can literally like take 2 steps and you're all the way around the tower. Let's go back down here. And in a minute, they're going to transport us into the watchtower, and it's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I liked the signs throughout the game.
Oh, nice.
They're,
So,
they're
yeah,
very
okay,
they're
so
authentic
look at right
period
here.
signs. It seems like, or what I remember them looking like, which is probably what matters.
And as you know, it would make sense if you're looking for something out in the woods. Sometimes it makes sense to like get a higher vantage point. So it looks like you went up into the tower.
Very wise. Very wise.
Well,
Showing us a clip.
You know,
this should
one
look
of the things I love
familiar
about
if
this game is
watch
you actually
this.
have to look at the sky. Like the sky is an important cue when you're walking around. So there's a pillar of smoke, but you use the sun and stuff as reference when you're walking around, which is pretty
Check
fun.
out the sky.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, it's some sky.
Look out this sky.
Do you like my slow pan on the PS4 controller?
Really nice.
Very, very
really
clean,
smooth.
Very smooth.
I was
Smooth as butter.
keeping it as clean as I could. So now we've gone in the tower. What do you say we jump over into the tower?
Show us this tower.
You can see the inside of the tower.
We're so excited to go into the
Explode
tower.
our brains.
right
We
now.
love the
Well,
tower.
let's do this.
Okay, guys,
This
look
is
up to your tower.
amazing.
Wow.
Look at this.
Ooh. This is actually really awesome.
This
So
is
the first thing I noticed when we
badass.
loaded this up, you guys were kind
I
enough
wanna
to give us
play
a hard drive
Firewatch in
full
VR
of
right
basically
now.
your video game, which we then brought over into our Foo thing. And the first thing we noticed is that everything seems really big compared to how it felt in the game.
Oh, you mean like the actual the amount of square footage? This is
And I
actually
can lean.
the tower in Firewatch is luxurious compared to a real lookout tower because in a regular first-person video game, you have a bulky basically your character's encased in a gigantic transparent pill.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, but now in VR it feels like the most this would be a desirable fire lookout tower.
It's this like I would
And
come
were
here.
it in real life.
I would come here, go camping, like bring the family, maybe sit down, do a little bit, work on my
This
novel.
is just really.
you know?
Whoa. Hey,
Right.
dude, clip through. Whoa.
So you can pick stuff up
That's
if you reach
really
out and
weird to
grab
just
stuff
clip
and
through
squeeze the
me.
trigger. This goes for you guys at home too, or if you're on the Oculus, you can head point at something and grab it with the A button on your controller. You can pick it up and look at it, kind of turn it around, see what it looks like, hold it up, explore the clip planes.
See, I haven't got that to
John,
work.
you should try the pine cone.
Oh, where's
Let's
that pine
see.
cone?
Hold that pine cone up to
You
your
can grab it
face.
from my hand. We can make copies.
Oh man, look at that. What a perfect pine cone.
Ooh.
I have something that I need to show you, Will.
Okay.
There you
Oh,
go.
hey, Farce Burns.
Oh my gosh, this is
Sean, you want one?
I should probably take one of
That's
those.
There you go.
great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good.
this is
Oh, man,
just
this-
fascinating.
Hey, look, guys. I'm the Forest Bird.
You are.
Oh,
you are
no.
fired. You're fired. Get out.
Unacceptable.
Come on.
Let's talk. I want to talk about how you guys made the assets in this. Like, if you look at the typewriter, stuff like the typewriter and the radio and the backpack and the things that you
Mhm.
see dozens of times throughout the game.
I mean, look at it. Whoa,
Yeah.
we're
everything
kind of
has a
clipping
really
through the thing
it's just,
here,
it's
but
gorgeous. It looks
so
like
it's not perfect.
Like,
Well,
what
this
was
is-
the process to make
This is
all
one of the
stuff?
first props Jane made. The process for this is that on this
And you can
particular
lean in.
thing, the typewriter, Ollie Moss
I wanna
did
see if I
a
can
2D
grab that
sketch,
boss. See,
sort of in like the most Ollie Moss of ways. Just a very like sepia toned 5x5 a little illustration,
Huh.
and then Jane sort of used that as the baseline for sort of prop fidelity and like the feel that like the edges and things of the props we're gonna have in the
Yeah.
game. And this kind of became the baseline for most
And-
props.
She
This one right here.
modeled the arms for the keys.
No, twist. That is a texture. You're fooled.
Yeah, you were being
Oh,
tricked.
the arms for the keys inside.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So we paused it there. I wonder if I can still. Oh, okay. I can still move around. So this, I can hop between these guys. They're frozen in time, and we're gonna wrap up the video here in just a moment. But I had to show you, like the idea of having like a demonstration, somebody showing their own VR project. I mean, like I said, this is something, and just Firewatch is a game. I played on the channel a little bit. I played through, and again, like the sense of scale. When I walked into this tower, it's just this tiny little thing on a flat screen. And I mean, I can literally feel like, oh, I don't know, this is probably, we're getting a little glitchy here. We might be a little bit too close to my sensor. Let's pop over here again. But we are, I don't even, like I said, I suck at measuring things in real life, like giving an estimate, like, oh, I think that's 6 feet long. But I get a real sense of space. Um, just being in here. I mean, like when I watch this whole thing all the way through, and it's probably about a half an hour. And they walk around the room, and that's where the HTC Vive would be kind of cool, because right now all we can do is go to these little points on the ground and kind of teleport there. That's kind of the teleporting mechanism that I had mentioned probably in a couple of other VR videos. But this is really the first time I've been able to really demonstrate it. Um, but yeah, man, like they're cool, like their avatars. Watching them, if I actually had the Oculus Touch controller, or if you had a Vive, like you could literally like reach out, and like I said, when they're holding things around in the environment, like I feel like I've actually tried a couple times, like it's just right up in your face. I know sometimes it glitches and it kind of clips through you if they walk through you because there's really no collision detection or anything like that. But nevertheless, like even with these little things, like I still, you suspend disbelief like enough to where, like I said, it seems perfectly reasonable. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was cool when they had the talk show thing, but then when they teleported me into the lighthouse or the watchtower of where I've actually played before, wow. I mean, just being in, like, I know I'm rambling, but like the thing that it's so hard to convey is just the fact that like you have this sense of space and something, especially for something that you're like really familiar with, watching it on a screen, and then you're literally dumped into that world and you're like, holy Lord. Like it's definitely something else. I am sold on this, like, not only am I sold on like talk shows or, like I said, having front row seats to a concert. I mean, imagine if this was like actual, instead of avatars, imagine if this was an actual, even where you could just teleport around. You can't walk around, but think about where I could choose, I could be right down in front stage, or if I wanted a better, to get like right up and see the musicians, I could teleport there. I could look up in the stands and jump up there for like a wide angle stage shot. Like if there's a lot of things going on at a concert. I think, what was it, WWE had toyed with the idea of doing some of their stuff. Now, I'm not really into WWE, but I might even just try to watch an event because I think ringside, that would just be freaking crazy. Um, yeah. I mean, this just shows like events in VR, and even, I hate to say it, um, but actually, like instead of like just a voice chat room, almost like a VR Second Life. I think there is actually some kind of a social networky thing in Oculus, and I don't know, I forget what it's called. I don't know how detailed it is, but it would just be neat to be able to interact with people, especially maybe when you get the touch controllers. It would just be really neat. Um, like a video call is one thing, but you've got like, basically you've got a mugshot view or like a really crappy, like, you can't really move around or whatever. Like it's cool, but whatever. It would be kind of fun to, even be in some kind of a room like this. And even if I had an Xbox controller and I was able to walk around in real time, I wish I could. Um, you're just kind of walking around slow, or you hold down a button to run, just like I did in Dread Halls. But I would be kind of fascinated to hang out with, friends if they had VR, just to another way to hang out, virtually. So I've rambled on and on. I really didn't know what else I was really going to say about this, but I had to show you this is another really cool use of virtual reality. Like, yes, there's games. Yes, there's little animations and, little movies and things, but this is fascinating. I had heard, like I said, I heard about Will Smith from, he used to work at Tested. He left there earlier this year, and then shortly after kind of did announce this Foo VR thing. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of forgot about it because I took me forever to get my Rift. But something had triggered me to remember it earlier today at work, and checked it out, and yeah, I'm sold. This is really, really cool. I will definitely be following these guys to see what they do once they fully launch later this year. And I think I might actually contact them because they do. If I look up here, I have controls, it looks like, but I can't really lean in to see them. Like, I can't really see what's being highlighted, or I don't really know what those little things are up there. And maybe, like, if I'm using an Xbox controller, I would like to contact these guys and see if they can add some accessibility, because this is an early access product as well. So they're still developing this whole virtual set kind of interface. So if I can get in there now and say, hey, believe it or not, there are some actual blind or like low vision, legally blind users such as myself. I love this concept and I'm totally going to follow you, but hey, could you guys, here's a couple things that I'm having problems with. Could you somehow help out with that? I might just see if I can maybe contact Mr. Smith or look at Foo VR and just see what kind of contact information they have and request. Because, hey, early access form, no better time to start. So, yeah, I think we will wrap up this video here. I apologize again that it's not full screen. One thing that you will have to get used to is every game, every experience is a little bit different as far as what gets mirrored back to the computer monitor. You get things like Radial G and Dread Halls, the first two games I recorded, that, yeah, they recorded full screen, beautiful. Some of the animations, like Invasion, that was just kind of like it only showed the one eye, and it was, a, like a third of the screen. I really, really wish that Lucky's Tale, I didn't realize it was going to show up that small on a video. Um, but I really wish that that would have mirrored better, because that's a pretty incredible game. So, yeah, I'm really kind of sold, and I'm really curious to see some of the non-gaming applications of virtual reality and the Oculus Rift and everything. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, found it interesting. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, I will talk to you guys again later.